theme for tonight's practice will be shoulders. And so it's really only recommended for the movements we'll be doing tonight to use like 1 to 5 pounds for the repetitions. And of course, you can always do the movements without the weights. So the recommendation, if you choose to, not do it with weights, is just to take your hands into fist, and you still do the same movements, but the hands are just drawn together in fist. And so you can set the weights to the front short side of the mat, and we're going to just take a short centering in the child's pose. So you can either have your knees together, or you can take your knees wide, and then we're just going to fold the body forward. I always find at this time of day, after I've been busy with various activities and with my kids, these few rounds of breath here at the beginning, these moments of stillness always feel so sacred to me. And so I just invite you to just let your body get pretty still. Feel the front body turning down toward the earth, the belly and the chest resting either in between the inner legs and knees or on top of the thighs. And then taking these next few rounds of breath somewhat deep into the lower belly and down into the frontal hip region. And then one more deep inhalation and exhalation. And then we're going to let the body rise up. So we're going to come to all fours position. So if the knees were apart in the wide knee child's pose, just slide the knees underneath of the frontal hip point, spread through the fingers. We'll take a few cat-cows. So inhale, allowing your belly to release down toward the mat. And then as you're exhaling, you're going to just say activate your hands down into the floor, allowing that activation of your hands down into the floor, then to tip the pelvis under, draw the belly in, shoulder blades apart. Inhale, stay nice and strong through your hands, tip the belly back down toward the floor, lifting up through your heart. Exhale, activating the hands strong to the earth. Take the tailbone under, draw the belly in and round through the spine. And then one more time that way. Inhale, allow the belly to tip downward toward the earth. Feel your center heart lifts up. And then as you're exhaling, activating the hands down, taking the tailbone under, rounding through the spine. One more cow tilt. We'll use that to transition to down dog. So as you inhale, let your belly tip down toward the floor. Lift up through the center of the heart. And as you're exhaling, we're going to press the balls of the feet into the mat, draw the belly button in toward the front line of the spine, and begin to rise up with the hips. So the sitting bones begin that light rise up toward the sky, down dog, and just begin to pedal out through your feet and through your knees. Just opening up through the backs of the ankles, backs of the calves, all the way up through the hamstrings and the gluteal region. All right, just another few moments here. Right, deep inhalation, and as you're exhaling, just start to take your gaze upward toward the space between your hands and begin to step your feet forward so that they land beneath the frontal hip points, feet flat to the mat versus the blanket if you're using a blanket. And then take opposite hand to opposite elbow. Soften in the knees a bit, maybe so much that maybe even the belly and the chest might come into contact with the thighs. And then a gentle sway with your torso from side to side. See if you can just relax through your head. Okay, and we're gonna pause there in the center and let the arms relax. So here we're gonna go ahead and catch hold of the weights. So we're gonna start to let the knees bend a little more, and the spine almost starts to come to that half lift position. We're gonna draw the belly into the spine, bend at the elbows so the weights come into the chest, press strong into the feet. So you unhinge, bringing the shoulders over the hips. You're going to take the arms and stretch them out in front of the chest. The palms will be facing down, knuckles facing straight forward, and there can be a little softness in your elbows. So we're going to do some pulsing here. These are called like over-unders, right? So the right arm can go on top, left arm on bottom. We're actually going to pulse that way 2 times, right? So 1, 2, and then you're going to swap over. So right arm goes on the bottom, left arm on top 2 times, okay? And then we're going to keep going back and forth. We're going to do 2 pulses and then 2 pulses. A few more times that way, 2 pulses, 2 pulses. Keep the softness in the elbows. Let's go one more round that way, 2 pulses and then 2 pulses. Now we're going to do a few sets of single pulses. So right arm on top, left arm on top, right arm on top, left arm on top, right arm on top, left arm on top, last ones, right arm on top, and left arm on top. So you're gonna let the elbows bend so that the weights come into your chest. Take your tailbone down, lift your heart center up toward your thumbs. You might even tip up the chin slightly to open the throat. Bend in the knees, hinge at the hips, bring your body forward over your legs. Now as you arrive, just let the weights come down for a moment. We're gonna take a halfway lift with the spine. So you're gonna inhale, slide your hands upward onto your shins, lift the belly away from the thighs, reach out through the crown of the head, and as you exhale, fold back into your legs. Now let your knees bend a bit, weight in the right foot. You're gonna step your left foot back first into high lunge and then spin the back left heel down for warrior 2. So the left outer edge of the foot approximately parallel to the back short side or a slight angle in. Catch hold of the weights. We're rising the same way. So press into the feet, draw the weights into the chest, press stronger into the feet as you rise up. You're gonna turn your ribs and your chest to the left side of the mat. Now here we're gonna let the elbows bend in front of the chest so that the arms form right angles and the right knee is over the right ankle. So these are called shoulder shapers. So the left arm is gonna stay stable for a moment. The right arm is gonna open out, half cactus position, and then you're gonna bring your right arm back to the center, open your left arm out to the side, and then back to the center. Now we'll do that a few times at any point in this. If you want to straighten your right leg for a few moments, it's totally fine. Otherwise, we'll work the movement in warrior 2 a few times. Open and close, open, close. Let's do 2 more rounds. Open, close, open, close. Last set. Right arm opens and left arm opens. Okay, we're gonna pull the elbows into the side ribs, turn the body toward the front short side. So there's a little shifting in the feet. As you do that, let the left heel rise up, bring the hands down, set the weights out to the side, step the right foot back, downward facing dog. So as you come into that downward facing dog, just pedal it out for a moment, swivel the heels a few times from side to side. Really concentrating on taking a deep inhalation and deep exhalation. I was listening to a really interesting lecture earlier today on the importance of, strengthening the respiratory system and deep inhalations and exhalations to help strengthen our body in defense against respiratory illness. So really deep, full breath in. Deep, full breath out. Okay, and then take your last inhale here, and as you exhale, look up to that space between your thumbs and begin to step your feet over the blanket if it's there. Land your feet underneath of your hips. Inhale, one halfway lift, slide the hands upward on the shins, reach out through the crown of the head, and then exhale as you fold in. So we want to catch hold of the weight. You're going to bend your knees, start to think of your spine in that half lift position. Elbows bend, weights come into the chest, anchor the feet, start to take the tailbone slightly down as you unhinge and rise all the way up. So that same position we started in for the shoulder shapers, we're gonna bring that shape back up so the elbows come out in front of the shoulders so the arms form those right angles. So this time we're gonna do a single arm overhead press. We'll alternate. So you're gonna inhale, stretch your right arm up, and then let your right arm come back down. Take a big breath in, stretch your left arm up. Exhale, come back in. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, elbow bends. Inhale, left arm reaches. Exhale, bend. Let's do a few more of those. So I like to keep my eyes focused. So keep going with this. As you're focusing your eyes, we call that the drishti or the gazing point. Okay? And so when we think of drishti or gazing point, the more superficial meaning of that is with the eyes. Okay, a couple more times. The next layer of drishti gazing point has to do with harnessing our attention of the mind. Okay? And the deepest meaning has to do with like creating a vision, right? And tapping into intelligence and wisdom, right? Okay, last one on the right and the left. Okay, after that one on the left, bring the weights closer into the chest. Draw the tailbone down, lift the heart up, lift up through the chin. Exhale, begin to bend at the knees, hinge your torso forward over your legs. As you arrive in forward bend for a moment, set the weights out to the side. We're inhaling to halfway lifts. You're gonna slide your hands up on your shins, anchor your shins back into your hands as you reach long through the crown of your head, and exhale as you fold in. Now the right foot is stepping back, first to high lunge, and then the back right heel is spinning down, catching hold of the weights for one more repetition of shoulder shapers. So you're gonna bend your elbows, pull your weights in, and then press strong into your feet as you rise and turn the ribs and the heart to the right. Now the hip points can actually stay a little bit angled to the left. The rotation is more in the upper body. So elbows bend, right angles in front of the chest. You're gonna inhale, open your left arm. Left arm is gonna come back in, and then your right arm is gonna open. Right arm is coming in, and then left arm is opening. And then a few more times. So keep your eyes steady and focused. And remember, you can always take a few moments to straighten the left knee if it starts to feel overly intense. Okay, last few times. We're going one more to the left and one more to the right. Okay, you're gonna bring the weights into the chest, start to turn your body toward your left leg. As that's happening, the right heel is lifting, the weights are coming down and out to the side, ground through the hands, step the left foot back, downward facing dog, and maybe pedal out through your knees, through your feet. All right, deep inhale. Last exhale here. So we're gonna be taking the low lunge pose. So we're gonna let the weight come into the left ball of the foot. We're gonna inhale, send the right heel up into downward facing dog split. And then as you're exhaling, you're gonna curl your right knee in so that you can lightly step your right foot through. Then you're gonna take your back left knee down to the mat. You're gonna catch hold of your weight, anchor into the right foot, back left knee, and maybe the left ball of the foot. And you're gonna rise up. So we're gonna do the overhead press one more time, but this time we're doing both arms at the same time. So you're gonna let your elbows bend, knuckles are facing up toward the sky. You're gonna inhale, stretch your arms up, and exhale, let your elbows bend. You might even bring the weights and the elbows in a little bit closer to the body. Inhale, stretch your arms up, reach up through the crown of your head, and then exhale, let the arms and the weights come in. Inhale, reach up. Exhale to draw in. Last 3 times. Inhale, stretch up. Exhale, draw in. Last 2. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, draw in. Last one on this side. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, draw the weights in. You're gonna let the weights come down, set the weights out to the side. You're gonna anchor the left ball of the foot and lift the left knee. You're gonna bring your right hand to the inside of the right foot. We're gonna turn the feet so that we come into what's called ninja positions, like a side lunge. You might have to walk your hands a little bit more to the center. And you'll pivot your feet so the heels angle in, toes angle out. And you're gonna let your right knee bend. You can rock up onto your left heel. So we're just gonna slide back and forth a few times. So you're gonna keep your hips somewhat low as you allow now the left knee to bend, rocking up onto the right heel. I always let my bent knee, that heel, I always allow it to rise up. And then just a couple more times, sliding from side to side. So I have this bad habit of always sitting with my legs crossed. I'm trying to become more conscious of that, but crossing the legs is going to cause the inner thigh muscles to engage and can create some imbalance in the hips and tightness in the inner leg. So this is a good movement to do to stretch out the inner leg muscles. Okay, the next time that you're coming back toward that front right leg, walk your hands around, frame your right foot, spin your left heel off, step your right foot back down dog. Nice deep, full inhale. Remember, we want to use our time on our mat to really emphasize deep breathing so that we are, consciously focusing our mind, moving our body through a physical practice, and strengthening the respiratory muscles through conscious deep breathing. So here on your next breath in, we're allowing the weight to come into the right foot, taking a deep breath in, stretching the left heel up into the sky, downward facing dog split. And then as you exhale, curling your left knee in so that your left foot can step through. And your back right knee will come down to the floor, low lunge. Catch hold of your weights. So you're gonna let the body and let the weights come back up. So we're taking our last round of shoulder shapers, but this time we're gonna do both arms at the same time. So you're gonna let your elbows come up, right angles again. This is basically just like cactus arms, right? So inhale, open your arms out, feel your heart lift. And as you exhale, bring your arms back in front of your body. Inhale, take your arms open. Exhale, draw in. Inhale. And exhale. Inhale. And exhale, last 2 times. Inhale. And exhale. And very last one. Inhale. And exhale, letting the weights come down, set them out to the side. Anchor the right ball of the foot, lift the right knee, slide the left hand to the inside of the left foot. We're gonna take one more round of those fluid ninja poses. So walk your hands around to the right long side, spin your heels in, toes out, and let your back right knee bend as you rock onto your left heel, and then fluidly slide your hips over. So this particular pose creates a grounding, energetic feel, being so close to the earth and working with the legs and the feet. I did the full moon class night, and Cindy, who I was co-teaching with, she said, you know, we think about, you know, the root vegetables coming in as being this, you know, sign and symbol, like to get grounded again. Right? And that's really stuck with me, right? Fall is a great time to sink back into rhythm and routine, which grounds the body, the mind, and the nervous system. All right, next time you're walking over to your left foot, frame your left foot, spin off your right heel, step the left foot back, downward facing dog. So for this down dog, take your feet wide, at least as wide as your mat. You could even step your feet off your mat as long as you're not stepping on a blanket. So wide feet is going to encourage more grounding. Deep inhale. Deep exhale. Last deep inhale and last deep exhale. And walk your feet in a little bit closer together, maybe frontal hip bone distance. Last breath in, and then as you're exhaling, take your knees, lower them lightly down to table. All right, let's swing the legs around to the right or to the left, and then swing them out in front of your body. Shift your hips more to the center of your yoga mat. We're gonna come down onto the spine. Okay. All right, so as you arrive, bend your knees. Let your left foot stay planted on the floor. You're gonna pick up your right foot, cross your right ankle over for figure 4 legs. And you can stay right here if you want a stronger stretch. Pick up your left foot and let your legs start to draw in toward your body. So I always love to do this first without catching hold. Like to just draw the legs in and then just rock a little bit across the low back. You might do that a few times, just that swaying from side to side. And then when you feel ready, you could draw the legs in toward the body, maybe catch hold of the back of the left thigh, taking that outer hip stretch. Some people will feel also a stretch on the inner thigh as well. So it can depend on which muscles are feeling more restricted, as well as the shape of your bones and how they fit together. It's also good to notice, you know, the low back. Because of the shape of the body, it does create a little bit of a stretch across the low back. And if that bothers you, what you can actually do is think about the tailbone and the pelvic floor reaching more toward the front short side of the mat. So you'll get less rounding in your low back that way. So it will stretch less. Right? Deep inhale. Okay, and then we'll release the hands, left foot coming down, right foot coming down. We're gonna pick up the left foot, cross the left ankle over. So you can always stay here. You can pick up your right foot, and again, you might hug that shape of the legs in a little bit to the body, but then do the side to side sway. I feel like I always need hip stretches. My hips always feel so tight. Okay, and then when you feel ready, you can come to the center, maybe thread your left arm through, catch hold of the back of your right thigh. And so remember, if your tailbone's really tucked under, you're gonna feel more of a stretch across the low back. And so you wanna pay attention to that, especially if it's bothersome. You can roll your pelvis forward, which is a strange sort of concept here. When we're down on our back, it can be hard to feel what that is, right? But that means you're gonna reach your pelvic floor and the tailbone more toward the front short side of your mat. All right, breathing in. And last breath out here. Let your hands release. Your right foot comes down. Your left foot comes down, and you can stretch your legs out long on the mat. And so as your legs stretch out, you might do a little bit of flexion and extension in the ankles and the feet. So press through your heels and then point the toes. So you feel a stretch across the tops of the ankles, and then just do that a few times, just pulsing the heels and the feet. So you'll get the rock all the way up through the body. And even just moving the feet can have an impact on the low back. It's really amazing, actually. Everything is so connected. Okay, whenever you feel ready, you can let your feet start to find stillness, maybe widening your heels, let your toes fall open. You can keep your arms out to the side, or you could lay the hands across the body, closing the eyes. I always love this time of year. It always feels like a good transition, that transition into school year and into the fall, which represents that more of like drawing inward, rhythm, routine. Okay, as you feel ready, you can just start to come back into some awareness of the weight of your body on the earth. Allowing your knees to bend one at a time so your feet come flat to the floor. And you're going to roll to the right or to the left. You're going to press down into the hands, rising up. And as you come to your seat, let your hands join at your heart. The light within me bows to that same light that exists within you. Namaste.